and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dark and Stormy Nights, and this is Loki.
This is Tyr.
And I've got a chapter for you this week. Hopefully you like it. It was written in a feverish rush. Not because I didn't have much time, but that's because it's how my brain worked this time. And I am not certain about the way I assembled this. We might end up changing a lot.
Okay.
But I like some parts of it, so hopefully you do too.
Okay. Well, it's a rough draft, so your only job was to get it written down.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So we might have to rearrange this one a bit, is all I'm saying.
It is what it is.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Nigel grumbles, "Ugh, I hate technology," as he fumbles with his phone frantically, trying to figure out how to make a call. "Oh, there he is," Nigel exclaims as he hits the contact button labeled Lee. The phone starts ringing. Now in an only slightly better mood and somewhat proud of himself, Nigel paces his office impatiently. "Come on, Lee, pick up." His mood sours once again, as Lee is not answering his call. Lee checks his watch, dragging himself out of the ornate elevator. It's late. Getting Shaela back was emotionally exhausting for Lee. Hell, the whole lot of them looked drained. Shaela promised to take them all back to the Bodak in the morning, so everyone agreed that tonight was for rest. Lee was excited to get the Bodak behind him, but he recognized that he was tired, and if the Bodak put up a fight, he'd be in no condition to fight back. Lee's pocket buzzed as they walked through the door. He struggled to pull it out. Nigel again. Ugh. I'll let it go to voicemail. I'm not ready to face betrayal yet. He can wait until I have more patience. Elliot dragged himself right to the couch to pass out. Even Shaela retreated to her lavish room rather than begging for a round of Mario Kart. Lee grabbed the bottle of whiskey and plopped down in the recliner exhausted. He was just relieved he wouldn't have to explain losing a dragon to its uncle. After a couple of swigs, Lee was on his way to Dreamland. Annalise led a group of Fae through the back catacombs of the Fae Underground. Collapsed tunnels and debris from the crumbling walls slowed their progress. Darker Fae beasts inhabit these tunnels, one satyr spoke, as they stepped over the bones of a long-dead, unknowable creature. "What, are you serious?" a small, timid nymph begged, as she measured her tiny hand against an enormous claw mark on the wall. "Oh, well, the size of our group alone should be enough to keep most aggressors at bay," the satyr answered. "Why are we back here again?" the nymph asked, trembling. "To investigate the explosion," a voice answered from the group. "We're never going to find it at this pace," the satyr jabbed. Annalise shot him a glare and answered, "We are looking for the right structural damage such an event would have caused. A large, freshly crumbled area, more debris, less dust and filth, freshly exposed cracks and breaks, thinner dust, no cobwebs. You know a little too much about the results of an explosion for my liking." The satyr stated. Annalise stayed silent and pushed ahead. "Look," Annalise calls, the cracks in the pillars and archways of the catacombs to the attention of the group she is traveling with. "These are fresh. The stone is still white. Little sediment has gathered on them, and the stone around the cracks has not settled or stress fractured yet." A few in her group ogled the cracks. Others seemed disinterested. Either way, Annalise used the opportunity to display her leadership skills. "Come," she says, with a stern glee. "We are getting close," and then pushes forward with forced vigor. But as she trudges on, she begins to show signs of nervousness. She begins to hesitate. "Are we lost?" the nervous young nymph asks. Annalise hesitates. "No, just being cautious." But her nervousness is plain for all to see, especially the empath. Annalise begins to recognize where she is. She'd been here with the Bodak, she thought to herself. What did he do? She thought to herself. Okay, that was a little redundant. She took a slow, deep breath, hiding it from her companions. She used it to steady her nerves as she rounded the corner. It was obvious the entire area was caved in. light from the outside world could be seen. The group began to explore the damage and traverse the ruined area of the catacombs. She and her contingent discover a hidden room sparsely furnished with salvaged materials. She immediately recognized the Bodek's black and twisted form. She thinks fast, and before anyone knows what is happening, she charges across the room and crushes the creature's skull. And with a frantic tone to her voice, she begins to shout, "Do you see? Do you see now? They think we are a joke. This is proof they have declared war on us. That the Combine intends to destroy us all. The beast was a psychic assassin sent to destroy us from within. We are lucky its blunder led us to it before real damage could have been done." A few among them grumble approval as others mumble in confusion. Annalise takes note and then attempts to seize control of the conversation once again, but is cut off when a skeptical voice from the crowd calls, "We could have discovered so much had you not killed it. Our psychics could have used it to determine the truth. Your brashness may have cost us. For all we know, it was working for you." A figure begins to part the crowd as she emerges. Annalise recognizes the girl as the empath she had heard about. Annalise attempts to disarm the conversation. "You're that half-witch girl, aren't you?" she said with dismissive tones. The girl stood open-mouthed, having taken obvious offense to the dismissiveness. "Excuse me? I raise legitimate concern here. A threat presented itself to those entrusted in my care, and I took action, and now you stand accusing me of insidious intent." "No, I say you acted too brashly, and you underestimate those who accompany you. We are capable Fae, and you need to learn to trust those you surround yourself with. Acting rashly will only lose us the battle and turn us against one another." Annalise, seeing this as an opportunity to display humility and simultaneously diffuse the situation, bowed her head and offered her hand to the girl. "I do apologize. My culture is brutish and tough at times. Our priority is to protect the clan. I understand that I acted in haste. I will learn from this moment and grow as a leader." The girl took Annalise's hand with one hand and pinched the bridge of her nose with the other. It's fine, I guess. Let's just head back and report our findings to the others." The group filtered out of the room, leaving Annalise at the back. Lee's pocket buzzes. He rolls his eyes and huffs at the inconvenience of having to fish it out. Elliot watches the whole event with some amusement. "Why do you keep it in your front pocket?" Lee gets even more bothered by Elliot's comment. "Well, where the hell else should I keep it? How about putting it down in the center console when you get in the car? Or get a dash mount for it," Elliot answers calmly. "Well, whatever," Lee barks, finally fumbling the phone out of his pocket and then immediately dropping it into the passenger side floor. "Gah!" he gasps, exasperated. Elliot leans down to get it. "Are you sure it was near the old wallpaper store?" Lee asks, as though he didn't believe her. "Yes, Lee. I have better direction sense than that app on your phone," Shaela replies, annoyed. "There's an app on my phone for directions?" Lee responds, surprised. "Ugh, I thought I was the oldest person in the car," Shaela screeched. "Yeah, so why didn't you just fly us here?" "Lee!" everyone else in the car yelled. "What?" he squawked back defensively. "That's rude, Lee," Ren informed. "Yeah, why don't you just give us all a piggyback ride there, man?" Gary added, and then looked at everyone else in the car for approval. Lee started, but Shaela shot him a glare, and then the radio turned on, playing the intro to "Shut Up" by the Black Eyed Peas. Shayla's eyes flashed, and the radio shorted. "Ah, God damn it. Really?" Lee complained as he looked over at her. The look of obvious boiling anger made him shut up and slowly look back to the road. He nearly hit an oncoming car in his distraction and was forced to veer wildly as he cursed under his breath, insinuating it was the other driver's fault that he crossed the center line in the road. Still distracted by the situation, Lee almost missed the driveway of the wallpaper store and cranked the wheel to make it in time. The wheel screeched and Lee hit the curb on the way into the drive, causing the car to come up off the ground and then come down hard. Shayla's forehead glows, and all charms ceased a moment, exposing Gary and Ren. But more importantly, the wallpaper store, which seems to be some sort of ancient temple when its charm fails. And then it comes back as Shayla floats gracefully back into her seat, and the others in the car slam about the cabin. Lee finishes by slamming the car into the yellow parking pylon as he parks. You should start letting Elliot drive, Gary complains as he rubs his head. Ren nods approval as she rubs hers as well. Fuck, I could drive better, Shayla giggles. Yuck it up, numbskulls, Lee grumbles as he closes the car door. So are we going through the store? No, it's out back, away. Follow me, Shayla beckons them and marches on. Everybody looks at each other, shrugs, and then follows. You ever come back here, Lee? Can't say as I have, Gary. I didn't even know they had a back area, Ren added. Elliot tried to read the graffiti and almost vomited at the dumpster fumes. Oh my God, why does that smell so bad? Elliot panted in disgust. Lee laughed at him. It's probably a charm to keep people away. That is the most insidious social engineering I've ever heard of. Hey, dummies, we're here, Shayla yelled as she stood atop a rusted-out car 30 yards ahead of them. How do you move so fast? Elliot begged, still reeling from the stench. I'm not affected by all those stupid magic charms and stuff. That and my dope-ass shoes, she says as she holds one foot in the air, displaying her princess pink army boots. Oh boy, Lee grumbled. Well, at least it doesn't smell as bad back here, Elliot spoke, relieved, as he caught his breath. Slowly, they all gathered around the massive hole in the ground. How the fuck? Lee began to ask. I burst out of it like one of them aliens in that movie me and Elliot watched as she gestured like something was bursting through her shirt. Blech! She stood, throwing her head back and tongue hanging out of her mouth. Haha. All right, let's go, she shouted as she just dropped down into the hole without a thought. Ah, shit, Lee grumbles as he hunched over, hands on his knees. Come on, kid, climb on, Gary encouraged. Elliot, are you sure about this? Yeah, easy peasy, kid. Let's go. Okay, Elliot agreed as he climbed on Gary's back, and before Elliot could get satisfactory grip, Gary hopped down the hole. I got you, babe, Ren assured Lee. I don't know if I can do this, hon. Lee, she called his attention. Lee looked up at her to see her holding a sack of purple glittery substance. Aw, babe, you shouldn't have. You the best. Yeah, I know. Ren began to actually glow at the compliment, tones of blue and red. Lee poured the powder over himself, being sure to cover himself the best that he could. He rubbed some on his gums and even snorted a little. He poured some down his pants and rubbed it on his chest. His pupils grew 3 sizes, and then he gave a little howl. Woohoo! Let's do this, babe. And in a flash, he took flight and darted down the hole. Ren followed quickly after. Are we going straight through? I don't know.
We can if you want to. It's up to you.
Okay. We'll just go straight through, I guess.
Okay, sounds good.
Lee and Ren landed next to Shaela with a confident thud as Gary and Elliot examined the body. Did you cause this, Lee? Asked Shaela. I don't know. I just blasted out of here and never looked back. If he got underfoot, it wasn't my fault. Its head was crushed with a boot, Gary added. Everybody looked over to Shayla's boots. What? Shaela asked, embarrassed at the sudden attention. Gary tilted his head as he examined. Wrong size. Damn right wrong size, Shaela snapped. My feet are nowhere near that big. Well, how are we going to interrogate it now, Ren? I don't know what I was writing there. Inquired. It's a person, Ren. It has feelings. Stop calling it an it, Shaela mocked. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ren apologized. I'm just fucking with you. It's cool. I'm going to get you for that, Ren snickered. Both of them look over to see Lee staring at them. What? They both question. Are you done? Lee asked softly as it fed up. Both women stay silent and look back at the bodeck. It's simple, Lee replies. I have a guy we can take it to. He will examine him, and he should give us the information we need, or at least some of it. Cool, let's go, Elliot encourages. Gary scoops up the remains best he can. Lee and Ren dart out of the hole. Gary turns to Elliot. Sorry, kid, I can only handle one passenger, and this corpse is about it. I got you, Shaela encourages as she grabs Elliot and begins to swell in size. Elliot closes his eyes as an uncontrollable anxiety overtakes him. He feels her lifting him off the ground by his shirt, and in a few short moments he is set back down. He opens his eyes to see her returning to the form of a little girl. The rest of the group stare at her in amazement. Oh, really? Elliot shouts. Was it really that cool and I missed it? Ugh, he stomps back towards the car. Elliot pulls the car up in front of St. Christopher's Church. Swanky, Shaela jokes. This is the nicest part of town we've been in, Lee. What's up? Elliot asks across the hood of the car as Lee gets out. This is where the guy works. Your contact works in a church? Yep, Lee answers as he helps Gary cover the body and drag it out of the car and into the church. Ren, Shaela, and Elliot gather around Lee and Gary as they move the body inside. They throw the doors open to the luckily sparse-attended church and rush the body to the back. Lee guides the team to an office to the left of the pulpit and sits it down on the desk. A large, hunched-back man in old-fashioned preacher robes enters the room and closes the door. Lee, he rasps. I wish I knew you were coming. Sorry, Dwight. I have a hot one for you. I need as much as you can pull from him. You know a priest, Gary interrogates? Meet Father Dwight Irving, guys. The father turned to Shaela immediately, offering his hands as if to shake, while his eyes seemed to move independently of one another, checking out the others. Shaela shrinks back away from him as he tries. No, I'm okay, sir, she apologizes. Yes, well, let's see what you've brought me today. The father turns towards the desk and begins to unwrap the body with his unusually small hands. Oh, my, this poor fellow has lost his head, hasn't he? That's much too sad. Why did you not bring me his head, Lee? It was stuck to the ground, Gary barked, annoyed. Oh, well, I guess if it couldn't be helped, the father taunted. Gary snarled. Do you think you'll be able to use it, Lee inquired. I'm sure I'll be able to find something, Lee. What I will not know until we try. The strange preacher spoke through obvious, over-salivating lips. Everybody watched in appall, but Lee, who was just eager to get his information. The preacher moved to the end of the desk and lowered his face to the desk edge, looking longwise down the corpse body. He took a deep vibrato breath and used his index fingers to widen his mouth. His tongue lashed out from his mouth and latched around the leg of the Bodek's corpse. Slowly, the preacher's tongue pulled the body into his mouth, and he began to swallow the body the way a snake would its prey. The process was long. The preacher made the occasional gag or hack noise. Everyone watched as though witnessing a train wreck. As horrified as they all were, nobody could look away. Elliot thought he might become ill and scanned the room for a trash can, but settled on the pot of a plastic ficus to let loose in. As he stood back up, Gary offered him a handkerchief. Elliot used it to blot the corners of his mouth as he finished, and his mouth closed. Shaela began a slow clap. That was fucking impressive. I mean, I can eat, but damn, that was amazing. Who the fuck is this guy, Gary? Gary asked Lee. The father here is an old species called a legitagast. They can discover information the dead knew by eating their corpse. Couldn't we have used a necromancer? I don't know a necromancer, Gary. Fair enough. The preacher eases himself into the large ornate chair next to the desk. He lays himself back in the chair, seemingly rolling back onto his hunch. He groaned and licked his lips, making smacking noises. He rubbed his stomach and rocked side to side in the chair. The group once again became uncomfortable watching the spectacle. The creature was demon, yes? Yes, Lee answered, his attention grabbed. The beast you brought me fed on fear. His name may be spoken once a year. Under the moon of blood and wheat, one must stop a heart that's meant to beat, brought forth to create and stir dissent, but revenge head is not what is meant. A master royal bears two faces. Her master plan has put you within paces. Her house restored will spell doom, but this dance you share will clear the room. Heed you now these final words. To know her face, listen to the birds. What the fuck was that? Elliot glared at Lee, confused. That's how he talks, kid. We'll figure it out. How the fuck are we going to figure that cryptic shit out? The way we figure it out all cryptic shit. With a little whiskey, a little research, and a lot of luck. Good thing you've got me for the luck, Ren cheered. I thought I smelled a pixie, the preacher spoke, as he sniffed the air. Yeah, you're doing that thing again, Shaela spoke to the preacher in disgust. What thing? He asked, worried. Being creepy. He grumbled to himself. You're creepy, man. Shaela gives the priest a strange look before turning back to Elliot. Hey, I've got an idea, Elliot exclaimed excitedly. Why don't we go to that amazing Esmeralda? It's the astounding Esmeralda, Lee corrects. Whatever, Elliot returns. Because I don't have any tokens, and I'm not sure we can get in any with the bazaar closed at the moment, Lee says in annoyed tones. I have tokens, Shaela says as she holds one hand over the other and pours tokens and coins of all varieties from one hand into the other. Lee tries to grab a token from her hand, but before he can, she slides the whole pile up her sleeve. How the hell? Never mind, Lee says, exasperated. Do you think you have the right ones for the fortune teller machine? Elliot asks. Sure, maybe, Shaela answers. It's worth a shot. And this part of the adventure seems a lot more fun than what we just witnessed anyways. Good point, Ren adds. Lee's pocket vibrates. He hits the ignore button without even looking this time. Elliot pulls the car up in front of the unusually dark wallpaper store. How are we going to get in? Shaela asks. Leave that to me, Ren answers as she pulls out an elaborate-looking key. They gave you a key to this place, Elliot inquires. Nope, that's an entropic pick, Gary answers. A what? The what? Shaela asks. Gary happily answers. It's a key that causes any lock to malfunction. In exchange, the laws of magic will make the lock harder to pick for the next person who tries. I'm not sure why, but every ounce of my being is telling me I need one of those, Shaela says, while rubbing her hands together. Before the conversation can end, Ren has the lock popped and the door held open. The group slinks inside. Elliot finds himself uneasy at the feel of the shop, as it is all dark. They walk into the back to discover the elevator is missing. A solid cinder block wall stands where it would normally return. Now what? Elliot throws his hands up. Oh, ye of little faith, Gary says as he pulls out a wand. Whoa, Lee says as he puts his hands up as if being arrested. Are you crazy? Those are dangerous and contraband as fuck. Calm down, Lee. I just carry it for protection. Do you even know how to use one of those things? Ren asks. I've used it a couple of times. I'm surprised you haven't shot your dick off, Shaela snorts. You've got a foul mouth, kid. I'm like 100, remember? Oh, yeah, Gary says, as he pushes the tip of the wand against the wall. He begins to chant in an elder tongue long forgotten by humans. Sparks start to shoot out from between the tip of the wand and the wall. The purple knotwork-like magic circuitry starts to illuminate. Gary's eyes are sealed tight as he continues to chant. More and more of the knotwork illuminates. His chant comes to an end. He opens his eyes and runs his fingers across part of the knotwork, causing part of it to move. The gate of the freight elevator fades into existence, and some of the light turns on. Gary slowly puts the wand back in his pocket as he pulls the elevator cage open. Once everyone is strapped in, Gary pulls the lever, and the elevator is off with a crank and a bang. In a matter of moments, the elevator slams to a stop in the bazaar, surrounded by Fae holding guns or readied with their natural abilities. Easy, guys. We're here on personal business, Lee assures, as he puts his hands up. What are you doing here, Lee? We are on lockdown. None of the booths are even open. Come on, guys. Esmeralda is always open for me. The guards pause a moment. All right, Lee, but just 'cause it's you. But be quick. In and out. Promise. The armed guards motion towards Esmeralda with his guns. Go. Lee nods to the guards, and the group hurries to Esmeralda. Shaela spots the busted old red fortune-telling machine. Oh, how fun, she squeals as she runs ahead, sliding to a stop on her knees in front of the machine. She drops coins into her hands, comparing them to the etching on the front of the brass coin slot until she finds one. She inspects the coin for a moment and pours all of the coins that didn't match up her sleeve again. She then holds the coin up in her right hand and then rolls 4 more coins down the back of her left hand. Elliot cups his hands to catch them just in time, and they land with a thud, plink, plink, plink. Elliot hands 1 coin to Lee and then the rest back to Shaela, who gives 1 coin to each of the others. Here, guys, once he's done with business, we can have some fun. Lee looks over at Shaela, annoyed by her enthusiasm, as he pushes the golden token into the slot. The fortune-telling machine sprung to life in an instant with a display of carnival sounds and flashing lights. As the tarot cards lift into the air and Esmeralda begins to bid them welcome, Lee cuts her off with spare me the spectacle, Ezzy. We're in a hurry. Oh, come on, Lee. It's all part of the act, and I so seldom get to practice it. I want to see it. Shaela bounces with excitement. Lee sighs and puts his hand on his forehead. See, Esmeralda scolds. Let the child watch. Fine, Lee gives in. Once again, the lights spring to life, and the tarot cards take flight. Welcome, welcome, I am the astounding Esmeralda. I see your stars, the Norns have spoken. I see your fate. Come and ask me your fortune. Shaela clapped and bounced. Yay, bravo, so good. Lee cuts off Shaela and holds up a note he had scrawled on a piece of paper. This is the cryptic message Father Dwight discovered for us. I could use any help decrypting it you have. How is Father Dwight? I have not seen him in years. Creepy as ever. Yeah, such unfortunate disposition. Back to it, Ezzy. Patience, Lee. Patience. Now let's see. The beast you brought me feed on fear. Okay, this is simple. It was a fear demon of some sort. Lee grunts. His name may be spoken once a year. Under the moon of blood and wheat, one must stop a heart that's meant to beat. This creature can only be summoned under the first red moon of fall. Got it, I think we had all that. Brought forth to create and stir dissent, but revenge had is not what's meant. So this seems like something, it wasn't maybe justice, but that was just to create chaos. Did I say that right? That explains a bit, Lee narrates, but everyone's attention is glued to Ezzy. A master royal bears 2 faces. Her master plan has put you within paces. So she may be of important blood, but she isn't who she seems. But you are close by design of her plan. Her house restored will spell doom, but this dance you share will clear the room. It looks bad if she wins, but there will still be loss if you defeat her. Heed you now these final words, to know her face, listen to the birds. Yeah, I don't know. I've got nothing. Something about a bird. Really, that was the part I was really hoping you could tell me about. I don't know what to say, Lee. It's very strange. All I see is a laundry basket. I can't make heads or tails of it. Ugh, Lee grumbles. My turn, Shaela shoves herself in front of Lee. Ren and Gary talk about their fortunes at the dining room table of Shayla's penthouse. I can't believe I know I'm going to die now, Shaela proclaims. from across the room. Yeah, but that's like 10,000 years from now, Elliot jabs. Yeah, but it's super cool that I'll be slain by some futuristic knight after the humans cause an apocalypse. Damn, that is super cool, Gary grumbles. I'm just going to be hit by a car while crossing the road drunk. Why don't you just stop drinking, and then it can't happen, Elliot asks. What? Psst, no, Gary replies. It's your funeral. Dark, Gary responds. Lee's phone vibrates again. Before he can send it to ignore a knock at the door. Food's here, Shaela yells. Lee goes for the door while fishing the phone out of his pocket. He opens the door just as he hits the ignore button. Nigel, what? Lee begins as he notices the delivery guy passed out the far end of the hall and the bags in his hand. We need to talk, Lee. The end.
Okay. That was good. It was pretty funny.
Was it?
Yeah. What's the crackling? Sorry.
You're fine. All right.
You'd think I'd have learned how to work a mic by now. Sorry about that.
All right. Any comments, ideas, thoughts?
No. Am I supposed to know what the bird thing is?
I'll let you know what to do with it.
Okay, that's cool. I was just like, am I missing something? Is it something the reader should know at this point? So that's
just
it's an Easter egg.
Yeah, it's
thing.
just a clue that you'll
Okay.
be able to use later.
Okay.
That'll give them the aha moment. You might not even be the one who writes that chapter,
Right.
but it'll be.
Okay.
So all I was thinking was we can use a bird of some kind. It doesn't matter. It can be she wears a bird print blouse, or there's a bird in the area, like
right.
with her or something like that.
Some sort of bird, or she has a bird tattoo or something.
Bird tattoo, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's cool. I just wasn't sure if I was supposed to be piecing something together already at this point. So
yeah, no, I was just leaving us something to use as a clue.
Okay.
That rhymed.
And I liked your corpse eater guy.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Believe it or not, my mother named him.
Really?
She thought I was like, give me something creepy to use for a name. She thought Dwight was creepy, so I went with it. So.
That's funny. Okay.
Sorry for anybody out there named
Dwight.
Right. So. All right. Are we good?
Yeah, I mean, that was a long chapter, so we're
I
short
apologize,
on time.
guys. If unless you enjoyed it, then you're welcome.
Right.
So, all right. Don't forget to check us out on Reddit at r/Dark and Stormy Nights, on Twitter at
the Dark Stormy.
At the Dark Stormy K1. Oh my God. We're on Facebook as well. You can find the podcast almost anywhere a podcast can be found, and we even re-air on YouTube. So check us out and tell your friends and family, like, subscribe, comment, rate, whatever you can. We need to get the show out there. It's been 2 years, and we need a lot more than the two of you. But all right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.